So honestly, when it comes to our generations, I really could care less, and I never really knew what the age brackets were, and I guess I never really paid attention to it. But I am definitely a millennial, right? I was born between 97 or 1981 and 96, right? I was born in 91, but millennials are apparently age 27 through 42. Cutoff time is around 96. So most of the people that are starting trends and making all these political movements and all this stuff, they're usually anywhere between millennials 27 through 42 and Gen Z ages 11 through 26, born from 97 through 2012. Gen Z are pretty much the ones that everybody that's getting behind everything, that doesn't really know shit from their shoes, and they're just going with whatever seems to be the trendiest or the most hive-minded thought for for the whatever subject they're on. And then before the millennials, of course, is the Gen X, who are all the people born in the late 60s, early 80s, in their 40s through 60s. Before that, you had the baby boomers, all the people in their 70s, 60s through 80s. And then before that, apparently they're called the silent generation. And then everything after everything earlier than Gen Z is Gen Alpha, aka post millennials. So now that I have this all framed in my mind, this new show that I ended up this movie that I ended up watching the other day, Millennial Hunter, was just too much. It was so funny, right? It stars Chris Parnell, and you probably know him voice acting, because it is an animated movie, but you probably know his voice from his other voice acting endeavors as Cyril Figgis in Archer, and the ever classic and loving Jerry from Rick and Morty, right? So having him voice this character, just awesome. So much personality, little quips, jokes. It's awesome. But he plays this character John, and he loses his job and his wife, and ends up going on this killing spree of millennials, right? Because he feels that millennials are destroying the environment, destroying the economy, making everything from making coffee expensive to making things hard for the elderly. I mean, it is hilarious. He's doing all these, he's realizing that millennials are causing all this destruction and all this just, of society. He works for like this printing press newspaper company, writing articles and stuff on culture and everything, needing unbiased opinions. And he loses his job because the woman that comes in to take over the company, she's of course, technically I would assume a millennial, maybe Gen X, but I'm assuming she's a millennial. And she, all right, everybody, we're doing some company cuts. Like, it's so funny, right? She fires the old CEO, and then she's cleaning house, of course. And so she fires him, and on his way home, after being fired from his, job of however many years, 40 years or something, he finds that his wife was murdered. Now, she wasn't actually murdered, right? Apparently there's this TikToker, this influencer called Jakey Wakey, and he's doing this, but I forget what it's called, but it's a honey bee cereal challenge, where you take a fucking honeycomb of bees, a beehive of bees, and you throw it into an unsuspecting person's house, and then while filming it, they try to see if they can get the bees out, or see how long it takes them to get the bees out of their house. Super stupid. And it turns out that his wife was allergic to bees, so in turn she gets stung to death and she dies. It's so sad, right? He loses his home, his car, his son. His son's missing. It's just awful, right? So he ends up going into he's in New York, I believe. He goes into at Central Park, and he stays there for 5 years or 7 years or some shit. And he's just learning how to hunt and fight and be an apex predator. It's so outrageous. But he vows to kill every millennial because they are ruining society. And when he comes out of the woods, everything's all futuristic, and everything's all on screens, and just everything's digital. And this one kid, Chaz AF, he's he's the head of social media influencing, and he's just pretty much, the Lex Luthor kingpin of this world. And it's just so outrageous. But it is on Tubi, right? It's free. It's really funny. And it's just, again, it showcases how, our generation, my generation, millennials and younger, how we do make things so much worse, right? We're always on our phones. We're always looking at a screen. We're always not paying attention to the grander scheme of things, but saying that we are fighting for the grand scheme of things. It's just crazy, right? I mean, it is a very funny movie showing how, someone older can be so upset and like somehow, or not somehow, but be able to transition from being like, not wanting to be for these younger generations to wanting to then help these generations and make things better. And all the younger generation needs to do is just listen a little bit. We don't listen for shit, but if we were just to listen a little bit to these older generations, things would probably be better and not be as hectic and as cringe as sometimes, all this lingo that has came out in the past couple of years. I mean, some of it might be all right, some of it's not, but the older generations they've been through it all before. We've all, like, nothing new has happened now that has happened back when. I mean, I guess kind of new things are happening now, but not really, because again, they've happened before. But yeah, so it is free on Tubi, Millennial Hunter. It's really freaking funny. I mean, I got a kick out of it. Again, if you're into things like, Rick and Morty, Archer, Robot Chicken. I mean, Chris Parnell he did work on Saturday Night Live, Robot Chicken, Drunk History. I mean, he's been on a lot of these great shows that are, comedy sketches, comedy influence. So he's just a great actor. He's an all around really cool guy. He just seems like that type of actor that can just do anything, really. He's not in everything, but he could definitely be in a lot of things. And, I mean, he's definitely that type of actor that just, lets the opportunities come when they do. And he doesn't really put himself out there too much in the limelight. And, that's honestly a good thing for a lot of people. And maybe some things that some actors nowadays, some of these younger millennial Gen Z actors maybe should be doing. But, I don't know, just saying. Definitely a funny movie. And it made me, I keep thinking it's a show because it's animated, but it is a movie. But it was definitely funny and it got me thinking. But wanted to go ahead and share it here for y'all to see. It came out in August of last year, but it's definitely, it's pretty funny. It's more along the lines of Archer for sure. But I would definitely recommend it. But yeah, Millennial Hunter, it's pretty freaking funny. This has been Ghost on the Craig. Thank you so much for tuning in, like, share, and subscribe. Like I said, it is on Tubi, so it's free. Go ahead and check it out. Peace.